Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. A good Sunday evening to you all. Hope you guys have had a great day and a great weekend out there as we're rounding off another weekend and making our way into another work week. I got you an update. We're going to talk about numerous things in this video. Nothing significant to talk about, but we're really going to focus in on the tropics and then talk about what can unfold for this week as a whole. I'm talking about the possibility for some much needed rain in areas of Texas, maybe a rainy, stormy pattern in areas of the southeast. And we're going to talk about this cold front that's actually sweeping through the central and eastern U.S. as I speak right now, that's going to make way for some comfortable mornings and nights over the next, the first half of this week, and then it potentially can warm up for the second half of the week. But we're going to talk about a couple things. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider that. Like the video if you like it. I'm trying to finish June off pretty strong. I don't know how it's going to do when I compare this month to last month, which was May, which was definitely my more slower one. It was my slowest month of 2022, which was expected. I was expecting things to slow down in the summer between severe weather season and hurricane season, but it's still been a fun ride. I've had a chance to kind of focus in on other things in my life, which has been great. But thank you all guys for still continuing to watch my stuff. I've continued to pump out 2 videos a day, which definitely takes work, but you guys have continued to watch. So it's kind of motivated me to keep doing it. So I really appreciate y'all watching as an audience. If you guys got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives others an opportunity to do so too. So let's get rocking here. We're going to talk about the tropics for a couple minutes before we dive into the work week. But here's our wave. It looks sloppier than it did this morning, which it got a boost off what we call D-max, which is something that occurs in the morning, and then D-min, which is something that probably is going to occur over the next few hours with this system. We'll talk about that when the time is right. If you haven't tuned in for the last 2 tropical updates that I made, I kind of discuss it in those videos, so definitely go back to that. I don't want to get all tongue twisted with it again. I feel like I explained it much better in yesterday evening's video than I did this morning. But anyways, this system is still chugging along here. It's a tropical wave still, not technically a depression. And this is the area of interest, and this is the area that has a 70% chance to develop into something coming up as it tries to enter the Eastern Caribbean. So we're also going to focus in on and talk briefly on a disturbance that could potentially get into the Gulf of Mexico, some homegrown activity, and maybe pump out some moisture for areas of Texas, Louisiana, some areas that really need the rain could possibly see it off this system in general and create a much better pattern for rain for that area. We get a little bit closer look at this system, what's going on. It does have a broad low-level circulation under all this mid-level convection, which is good for this system, because this convection in the mid-levels, convection in general, is protecting kind of the heart of this system, which is the mid-level circulation. But it certainly still is a sloppy system, which was kind of expected, but it really hasn't done itself any favors about fighting off any kind of things that really are going against it. It's just still just a big blob of convection out here, still a strung out tropical wave, but eventually it's going to get its act together somewhat. And even though it doesn't really appear that it's doing so, it really is right now. It's starting to kind of blow up convection where it needs to blow up convection, and will continue to kind of go under more favorable conditions over the next few days. And we take a look at the National Hurricane Center, the latest update as of around 2 p.m. this afternoon. We have a system right here that we're going to watch out for. This area of showers and storms are going to get, and it was associated with a trough that's actually digging into the eastern U.S. right now. Will get over this area of the Gulf of Mexico and have a chance to develop. Now, over the next 48 hours, it doesn't have much of a chance at all. This has a 40% chance to become a system within a tropical depression within the next 48 hours. So this is within the next 2 days. But if we switch it over and we look within the next 5 days, this has a 20% chance to develop here in the northwest Gulf of Mexico. This has that 70% chance. So this is the system that most likely, confidence has not increased on this. It hasn't necessarily decreased, but it will still most likely take the next name of the hurricane season list, which would be Bonnie. Now, there is still a chance that it could. That's why this isn't a 90% chance or anything like that. So there's a chance this will not take Bonnie. But in fact, I would say my confidence has decreased ever so slightly that It will, but I still have some pretty high confidence that this will be our next named storm in the eastern, probably as it gets deeper into the Caribbean. So we'll continue to watch that. We'll take a look at the GFS, the latest run on what this looks like. Just a sloppy wave entering the southern Lesser Antilles. And then we get into about Thursday. It's still just a weak low pressure, but then it will try to strengthen deep down here in the Caribbean, maybe as a sub 1,000 millibar low pressure by around Saturday morning of next weekend, and then maybe quickly try to rapidly increase its strength right before landfall in Central America. So we'll watch, right? That's all we can do. But I really think it's going to take between now and this time next week, 7 days, for this to make the kind of its whole entire lifespan from where it is right now all the way across the rest of the tropical Atlantic into the Caribbean before ultimately making landfall. The European, it shows an even weaker scenario. Gets this into the Eastern Caribbean by about midweek. Very low down here as far as how south it is in the Caribbean in general. It's actually trended more and more south instead of northwest, which makes the chances for any threat for any of the big islands up here like Cuba, Jamaica, I'm sorry, folks out there, the Cayman Islands, things like that, the Gulf of Mexico. It makes y'all feel even more confident and comfortable that this is not going to affect y'all. So it has a weak low pressure. It might strengthen just before landfall, but it doesn't even really have it making it up below 1,000 millibar low pressure. So the European doesn't even like this becoming a named storm. So it's something we got to watch out for sure. And I wouldn't even say watch out for. It's really just something we need to watch, because I don't know if there's much of anything to watch out for at this point as far as this being super threatening or anything like that. But here's the ensembles off the European from 06Z. I don't think the 12Z has dropped yet. Let's see. Well, it looks like it's coming in, but I think it's only 66 hours out. But in general, has this signature coming in right here, still a pretty solid signature in general, that there's some kind of system beginning to enter the Eastern Caribbean as we get into about midweek this week. So we'll continue to watch this. There's nothing of concern right now. We're actually, compared to the last 2 years, probably behind. If you compare this year compared to the last 2 years, as far as names down the hurricane list, we are actually probably behind. Well, we are behind the last 2 hurricane seasons. So that doesn't mean anything. If you really look at 2020, it didn't really get popping off until about, I would say, August, where we really just started going through all the names like it was nothing. So in general, we're still watching this, but right now it's just kind of something to kind of dust off the rust as far as talking about the tropics, and that's kind of what it's been for me and for a lot of people, as it just does not look like it's going to be very threatening for a lot of people. But let's talk about the U.S. and what could happen this week. We still got high pressure, a heat dome heating up, boiling you guys in Texas, really heating you guys up. We have some lucky folks getting some showers and storms, and this is firing off the cold front. Some forcing is causing some lift and providing some thunderstorm activity. Some could be strong to severe, and this is really popping up right now. So please continue to be careful this afternoon, this evening, as there's a severe weather threat throughout this entire axis of the U.S. right here. As a cold front, you see these darker colors right here, that is actually more drier air. It's going to sweep through the Ohio Valley, areas of the Mid-South, and even the eastern U.S., and it's going to be very comfortable the first half of the week. It really is. But we'll continue. The flow around this ridge goes all the way up and then shoots back down. And in general, this cold front will help to ease the temperatures for a lot of folks in this part of the country right into here, at least for a couple of days before it heats up in the second half of the week. So tomorrow, not really a big storm threat. In fact, there's not really a threat for any severe storms. I'm sure there will be some severe storms, but in general, you can actually see where the cold front is as this thunderstorm boundary. Chances of general thunderstorms kind of extends just like this right in the directional flow of what looks like a cold front that's sagging southeast. So you're going to continue to have thunderstorms ahead of this front, and this front will almost stall out or weaken across the southeast, which will actually enhance the rainfall risk. In fact, tomorrow you have that marginal risk, at least a 5% chance of flash flooding occurring in this green area right here. And even down here in South Florida, you continue to have pop-up showers and storms. So it tells you that this cold front's moving in, but I think it's going to slow down, weaken, and pretty much stall out. So there is a flooding threat tomorrow. We got to watch for that for day 3. There is also still a flooding threat. Notice it does not move much further south, and that tells us that cold front is really kind of slowing down, weakening, stalling out as another ridge is going to build over this part of the country in general. So we look at the HRRR model, and this is very interesting. Check this out. So there's a pretty tight boundary based off the HRRR model, where the dry area is and where the moist area is. So let's go on and fast forward this until around tomorrow morning. We're waking up brand new morning for a Monday morning. We'll stop it right here. See how this dry air, dew points in the 40s, the 50s, is progressing southeast, but look at the dew points in the 60s, deep in the 70s, the tropical air mass in the Carolinas, the deep south, even all the way up through Maine. But this cold front is going to whoosh some dry air right in. But check it out. It's moving in. It's moving in. It's starting to cover up all of Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, the Ohio Valley, Pennsylvania, interior northeast. And you have big-time moist rising ahead of the cold front. But notice how this cold front stalls out right here in the dew points as we're getting into Tuesday afternoon. Do not surge any further south. So if you're in Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte, I think Charlotte will get into some dry air. If you're in Birmingham, all these areas point south. I think this cold front's going to stall out and really weaken and probably just dissipate in general before it really clears the entire southeast. What that means is, 1, we're not going to get in on the dry air. It'll stay to our north and northwest and west. So it'll be very comfortable in the Ohio Valley. And 2, that means you're probably going to have a lot of moisture that rides the boundary of the stalled out front. So we keep moving, and we look at and we only can go 48 hours out here. But we'll continue to move forward here. We're getting into this evening. We lose that kind of daytime convection. Maybe some showers continue to pop up here in North Georgia, South Carolina tonight. And then we get into tomorrow. More additional storms fire up here in Virginia, areas of the Delmarva area like Delaware, southern New Jersey, Maryland. And check out this broken up line of storms extending all the way from that area I just mentioned all the way to the northwest coast of the Gulf of Mexico here. And these continue. And you notice what happens here is the front stalls out, so the convection begins to fire up again here in central Georgia, areas of Alabama. And if this run was to keep going, it will probably show widespread showers and storms again for the southeast, because this cold front is not sweeping through, so a stable atmosphere isn't swooshing through the entire southeast. Therefore, you're going to continue to have waves of showers and storms, at least for the first half of the week. So for folks who need the rain in the southeast that really have not gotten it, will likely have a chance to get it this week over the next few days if you're not getting it right now. And we'll take a look at this. This is the National Weather Service predicting how much rain can fall between now and Wednesday morning. And, once you start to get in these blue areas, that is, a chance to see over a ½ inch of rain. You're not seeing super heavy rain anywhere. But in general, it does a really good idea of showing that anywhere in the southeast could get rain in this pattern. But down here in southern sections of Florida, certain areas could get over an inch of rain, maybe 2 inches of rain. You know how it does in Florida. In Florida, you can get an inch of rain in 15 minutes down here with these tropical downpours, and that certainly will be the case throughout the first half of the week. But as this piece of energy gets into the Gulf of Mexico and tries to enhance itself, become tropical, you're going to have a feed of moisture into Louisiana, into Houston, Texas, and just Texas in general, the whole entire coastal regions of Texas. These areas need the rain. They really do. And in fact, you go on and switch it over to the Louisiana and Texas, Houston, maybe an inch of rain between now and Wednesday morning. And this probably will continue to increase if this run would have kept going. But, this entire coastline right here will see a lot of rain, and potentially even more throughout the second half of the week. But check it out. Moisture getting all the way into central Texas between now and about midway part of the week. You guys really need the rain out here. So even if it just says 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, I'm sure y'all will take every bit y'all can get. But check out the monsoon season really kicking off in New Mexico, Colorado, and areas of Arizona. You guys are going to see a lot of rain the first half of the week. But we'll have to see what happens. You look at Texas. You see, these areas that are in dark red, that is an exceptional drought. That is the worst drought intensity that you can have per the National Weather Service. Even down here in Houston, you guys are under an extreme drought, but there is splotchy areas in Texas that, have gotten enough rain, but there's also areas that really, really, really need the rain. So hopefully you guys will get it for sure. But moving forward here, as far as temperatures, the good news is, we'll go on and start this for Monday tomorrow. Hot temperatures, probably very humid in the southeast as storms will erupt with the stalled out front here. But up here in the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, nice and comfortable conditions. Low humidity, if any at all. Highs in the 70s and 80s. We continue to move forward here. We get into Tuesday morning. Look at these temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Higher elevations will definitely clip the 40s. I mean, we're in late June. We're about to get into July. We're about to get into the dog days of summer. I like to think fall's right around the corner when, it technically is, technically isn't. We still got some very hot months and weeks ahead of us. But, this is nice for this time of the year. To me right now is we're starting to enter what I call the middle part of summer. So for us to have some cool, crisp mornings up here, you don't even have to be in higher elevations. The Ohio Valley, Ohio, Indiana, lows in the 50s. So it's nice. And we'll keep on going here. And temperatures for highs Tuesday, not too bad, but in general, really we don't see any big-time intense heat again until probably Wednesday or forward, where another ridging occurs here and big-time heat returns to the middle of the country. And unfortunately, y'all start to get very hot again. Yes, that includes you, Texas. So hopefully you get some moisture. But then we get into Friday, and the heat returns for just about everybody. So that's all I got, guys. I know that was a mouthful and just went over a whole lot there, but if this tropical system does not end up being much at all, we're probably going to enter another slower period. But we'll continue to watch this. But for now, what will likely be Bonnie is probably not going to be very impactful for really anybody, unless you're in Central America, where you could potentially at worst get a strong tropical storm. But as far as it affecting the lower 48, it's not going to affect you guys at all. So that's all I got, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. I know I made this video a little bit earlier. Got a couple things going on this evening. But y'all have a great end to your weekend, and I'll be with you guys in the morning. God bless.